Nice. Let me close my window. I'm just gonna wait a little bit. Welcome. While I get myself together. Let me get my notes. And let me try to get it up. I'm gonna try to get it up on my computer because I'm filming it off my phone. I'm gonna try to get the video up on my laptop so I can see what it's looking like, what it's giving. And I'm gonna wait for a couple people to pop up. Nice. Nice. Uh-oh. That's nice. Okay. I don't really know when to start this video, but I guess I'll start with like an intro. Thank you so much for joining the live. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, for being here today. We're gonna talk about a lot of cool things, a lot of good things, about protecting peace. I have gotten so many questions. If you follow me on my Instagram, then you know. But I get a lot of questions about how I'm staying uplifted, how I'm staying positive, what I've done pretty much like through my journey to keep me in a good mental space, especially with all the chaos that's going on. And yeah, it's just a lot. But I want to come on here so transparent because I'm also trying to pretty much just reboot my YouTube channel. I've made YouTube videos in the past, but I'm really trying to reintroduce what my YouTube channel would be like. I want to start doing more lives. I like lives a lot. I feel like it gives it an authentic feel. So that's what I'm really going for moving forward. But in this video, we're just going to be talking about peace and just all of the things that I've done personally on my own journey to help me stay uplifted. I get a lot of questions about how I protect my peace and things like that, but I feel like it's very it's social media, so it's like you can see it on socials, but in reality it's not always like that. And I do want to kind of just like put it out there that even though I'm a very positive person and a very uplifted person, that I also still have extremely low moments. You feel me? Like, it's not butterflies and rainbows all the time. So I definitely don't want to give people that impression that it's like it's smooth sailing over on this side. Like, it's definitely not smooth sailing. It's anything but smooth sailing, I promise you. But I think that I've, through my journey, been able to kind of roll with the punches in a way that now allows me to kind of bounce back quicker when things do come at me. So I'm not like, like if something happens to me this morning, I can pretty much just sit down and be like, okay, this is what happened, and now I'm about to, like, I'm gonna be okay, you know, and then I'm able to bounce back quicker. I feel like that's a gift that I've been given through being able to pretty much just work through my problems. But to start off the video, I have my list of points. You know, I have to stay organized or I'll talk forever, but I have a list of points that are pretty much just about how I've outlined like how I'm gonna go about pretty much talking in this video. But the first thing that I guess I'm gonna talk about is how it pretty much ties into my journey. So the first thing that I did to pretty much protect my peace was quit my job. And if you haven't seen that video, I have a video on my channel about quitting my job, and the reasons why I did that, and how that led into a spiritual awakening for me, which for me is what was the kickstart for my journey. And if you watch that video, if you have watched that video, or if you're about to watch that video, in that video, I talk a lot about how negative and toxic the environment that I was in was. And honestly, I feel like while I was there, that was pretty much like my wake up call to want better for myself, in a sense, because it was so it was everything that I did not want to be, and I was in that environment. It was very dark, very just, it was restricting. It was there was no light. Honestly, I feel like I was the most light that there was in that place, but I couldn't hold it down for everybody. So I had to go, but quitting my job, although it was a really big decision on my part, I had to put my faith in that. It was one of the best decisions I've made for protecting my peace. Now, I know that that can be controversial because people are like, oh, I have bills and like all this, but it's like, if the shoe doesn't fit, the shoe doesn't fit. For me, the shoe fit. So I had to go. And I wasn't really concerned about what would happen afterwards, because at that point I had given it to God and I believed that something better would come. But in that job, I really was able to see how much I was suffering from being there. And it pretty much just woke me up to how being in a toxic environment truly can begin to make you a toxic person. Everything that I wasn't, I was starting to become. I was starting to become irritable. I was starting to become mean. I was starting to become manipulative. I'm starting to, like, I became my environment in a sense. And I feel like I did that for maybe like a little bit. Well, like everything would bother me. And it's like you wake up and you're tired. You go home and you're tired. And then you get in bed and you're tired and you're irritated. And I got tired of being irritated, because that's not where my normal sense of like, that's not where I'm supposed to be. Like I like to keep my peace of mind. So once I saw that, I really started waking up to the fact that being in toxic places just isn't good. I think that was God, that was divine, because whoo baby. And I really tried to thug it out in that job, because it was something that was paying the bills, and it was a really good, it's on paper, it's a really good job. So I didn't want to risk it, but my peace of mind just became bigger until the point where I quit. Now, when I quit that job, it immediately opened up a whole new world for me, and lifted, till this day, has lifted a load that I can only I can know, because I was in the job. And I've seen how much more peaceful I've become since quitting. So once I quit my job, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna thug it out, and I'm gonna figure out what the next step is for me. So after I quit my job, pretty much, that's when I started to realize that there were a lot of things there were other things in my environment that were also toxic. So now I'm starting to look at, like, my family members. I'm starting to look at my friends and just the people that I associate with, and I'm like, it's almost like when you build the tolerance, it's like once you start feeling peace, because once I quit the job, I felt peace, baby. Once you start feeling a little bit of peace, you don't want to sacrifice that peace for anything. So your tolerance for BS and your tolerance for toxicity and your tolerance for all of these things decreases, and you're going to try to figure out more ways to maintain peace in all aspects of your life. So at that point, I gotta sit down, y'all. I'm sitting on my legs. But once I quit that job, and I saw how toxic that was, I began to seek out more toxic things in my relationships. So I started cutting off a lot of friends. I just started cutting off a lot of things that weren't good for me, or just pretty much taking my space from them, which I think is so important, but a lot of people are afraid to do in this day and age, because it's like, okay, well then I'm gonna be lonely. But it honestly, like, if you can't think that way, because you're gonna have to cultivate a relationship with yourself, because that's the only way you're really gonna find peace. Which is one of my points in here, but it's really to get to know yourself. Once you start cutting out all the toxic things, there will come to a point where you don't really have much left, because, and that depends on how much toxicity you had in your life to begin with. You feel me? So if you didn't have that much, it's not going to be that hard. But if you have a lot of things in your life that are not in alignment, you're going to have a lot of work to do. And I had a lot of work to do, because I thought that I had built a life for myself that was going to be sustainable, but obviously not, because I had a lot of stuff that I needed to cut out. And that included my family too, where I really just had to sit my parents down and let them know and air out my childhood trauma, because I got to a point where I wasn't able to deal with the negativity anymore. I wasn't able to deal, like, my tolerance couldn't take it anymore. So anything that disrupted the peace that I had found once I had quit my job, and I was really in tune with my spirituality at that point, I'm like, you know what? I don't deserve this. When your self-love starts to increase, all the tolerance that you have for anything that's BS, it goes out the window. And that comes through getting to know yourself and taking time to be alone, which a lot of people just, I guess, are a little bit afraid of. But it's the only way that you're really gonna be able to you have to know yourself enough to know what brings you peace and what doesn't bring you peace. You feel me? And I know that even you watching this video, you know what's bringing you peace and what isn't bringing you peace. Everybody knows where their peace isn't. And that's really just the first step, is knowing where your peace is not, and then taking that one step. And it really isn't that you have to go and do action immediately. Like, okay, let me let me quit this job, let me cut this person off. Like, no. All you really have to do is think about it. I was telling my mom the other day, because I'm trying to get my mom to quit her job, and she just doesn't want to do it, because she's like, no one's gonna hire me, and like, where am I supposed to go, and like all this. And I'm like, have you even thought about it? Like, have you even sat down to consider the options? Because a lot of people are so afraid of even considering it, that they don't consider it at all. And you're so close-minded that you won't even, you're your own block. It's self-sabotage. So I really just told her, I was like, you just need to think about it. You don't really need to do anything. You really just need to think and see, okay, if this is not bringing me peace and this is not making me happy, what could? What could I do? And it's not a super, it's not a drawn out process. You really just have to think. And so she was like, oh my God, you're right. And I was like, yeah, I know, because you have to. Otherwise, you're just going to be stuck in this box, and you won't be able to expand. You won't be able to grow. None of that. But that's where I really started to go next. So then I started cutting out all the toxicity that was in my life. And that's still an ongoing process. Like, I'm still doing that. And it's not just people and work environments, but it's also the things that we do on a daily, the habits that we've created that are not good for ourselves. So that could be substances, that could be social media, that could be any of the things that we know are not giving us peace, but we're still entertaining them because either they're entertaining or they're drama filled or any of that nonsense. You feel me? But it comes to a point in time where you yourself have to see where you value your own peace. Do I value my peace more than spending 3 hours on Instagram? Do I value my peace more than hanging out with this person that always seems to have like weird energy? Like, you have to start asking yourself these questions. It takes a lot of introspection, it takes a lot of reflection, it takes a lot of you being able to really sit down with yourself and be able to assess, okay, where am I? And it requires change most of the time, which a lot of people are not. It's like you want to change, but like as soon as the change comes, it's like, man, I'm good. But you have to take the steps, otherwise you're never going to find your peace. You feel me? You're always going to be in limbo, where sometimes you have peace and sometimes you're disturbed or you're disrupted. Sometimes you're like this, and it's like you're going to get to the point at some point in your life, hopefully, where being lukewarm in the middle is not good enough. So had to cut all that out. And from there, I stopped feeding into fear-based media and drama and politics and all of that. Now, this is my journey, my life, what I do. But anything that has to do with anything negative on the news, I just don't have the capacity for it anymore. I feel like it's just not worth it for me to be so engrossed in the problems and the drama that's in the media, or that people are sharing, or just celebrity gossip. Like, there's so many places where you waste your energy, and you don't even know it, because you're unconsciously just doing it because it's a habit. You feel me? But feeding into celebrity drama, feeding into fear-based media, feeding into anything on Twitter that is negative. First of all, I have a love-hate relationship with Twitter, because I think it's a really great app. I like the interaction. It's cool for community coming together. But people don't even understand how negatively Twitter can impact your psyche, because there are so many things on Twitter that you subconsciously feed yourself every day that confirm all of the fears and the subconscious beliefs that you hold. Consciously, you can say, okay, like, that's stupid. But if something in you subconsciously agrees with whatever you're seeing on there, you're constantly affirming your subconscious mind of the things that you fear, of the things that you don't like, of the things that bring you down. And you don't know it, because you're just scrolling aimlessly thinking it's entertaining. And sure, it's entertaining, but it's not useful. It's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy. So I'm still trying to I'm actually in the process. I gotta sit again. I'm actually in the process of trying to limit my social media use. It's a little difficult, but I feel like my spirit is even guiding me to just kind of scrap it. It's difficult because I am, like, a social person, so I try to do my YouTube, I try to stay on Instagram, I try to like tweet my tweets, but it takes some self-control. Nobody's saying you have to completely eliminate social media or the media in general, but you have to create boundaries for yourself on there. So it's like, anytime now when I'm scrolling on Twitter, if I see anybody say something negative, it's like I see it before I even see it on the screen, and then I just scroll. It's like my eyes don't even see it anymore, because I've trained myself through the process of my journey to just not even read it. Like, it's like I'm not even curious to know what y'all are talking about. And the replies on Twitter too. Like, the way people argue on Twitter is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And people joke around on Twitter, but the joking is really bullying, and it's like, I just can't get with it. So I just really had to limit that, and limit politics, because I know some people are into politics, but I do not care about what the hell is going on in this country. I'm being very real. Like, it's show. It's bullshit, because there's so much going on, and it's too much, and it's all a show. And I can't be with it. I can't feed into how many COVID cases are going. Like, it's messing up your brain, because you're constantly seeing negative. Everywhere you go, negative. Everywhere you go, negative. Everywhere you go, negative. And you think it's a joke, or you think it's funny, but it's really messing you up. And I feel like it takes a certain awareness, it takes a certain consciousness to know whether or not what you're really feeding yourself is to your benefit because it's entertaining, or if it's actually hurting you in a way. If you know that reading something is giving you an emotional reaction that's not something that's normal to you, that's your sense of calm, it's something that's pulling you out of your center. So then at that point, when you know it's pulling you out your center because you feel it, you need to cut it. It's really that simple. But it takes practice, and it takes awareness to get to that point. But that's just how I feel. I've been able to master the skill of turning off the outside world because it's too much. Like, I would rather go within and be by myself and sit with myself than listen to anything on TV, listen to anything on Twitter, or watch anything that isn't in alignment with what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to learn. I read. I do all of these things just purposefully to cultivate a relationship with myself and stop trying to cultivate a relationship with the outside world in a way that's not in alignment with me. You feel me? So I'll be able to go on YouTube and do this because this is social to me, but I'm definitely not about to go to something or be a part of something that is degrading or is negative or just has an energy that isn't in alignment with my own frequency. And you know it because you feel it, but you need to stop ignoring your intuition when it's telling you that something isn't good for you, because that's where you're gonna find your peace. And my next point is really to spend time by yourself, as I already talked about it, because spending time with yourself is the only way that you'll be able to know what brings you peace. Because I know that in the beginning it's a little difficult to be alone for a lot of people. I feel like for me, it wasn't really difficult, but it was more so like I felt like I was doing something wrong. I was like, okay, like if I don't go here, or if I don't talk to this person, or if I don't do that, am I like a loner, or am I like this, or am I supposed to be by myself? Like, I thought we needed human interaction. And it's like you start to question yourself and ask all these questions, but that's where you really have to sit down and actually sit by yourself to see how you feel when you do that. You have to be able to cultivate a relationship with yourself to maintain your peace. And that's the best. That's just, if you want to stop the video now, that's pretty much it. Because that's what's going to be able to help you realize more about what you like and what brings you happiness and what brings you joy. But if you're always hanging out with so-and-so, or you're always doing that, or you're always rushing somewhere else, you're never going to be able to know what you want. You're constantly intermingling your energy with something else. And you're not going to be able, if you don't have the skill of discernment, to know whose energy is what, how I feel, you won't be able to know yourself. But to even build that level of discernment, you have to know both sides of the spectrum. You have to know what does and doesn't bring you peace. What I like to do and what other people like to do. Like, do I like doing that, or do I only do that because my friends do that, type thing. So you have to spend time by yourself. And I love spending time by myself. If you know me personally, you know I love spending time by myself. I spend time by myself any day, every day, all the time, all the days, because I love being with myself at this point. It wasn't always like that. Sometimes I was like, oh snap, like, am I doing this right? But it takes time. I feel like you can't rush a relationship with yourself. You're always going to be in a relationship with yourself. Every relationship that you have with other people and the world and everything else is only what it is. It's a reflection of the relationship you have with yourself. So if you're constantly in negative environments, there must be something that you're not treating yourself correctly. You're not loving yourself the right way. So if you're constantly finding yourself in places that are not bringing you peace, that's a lack of self-love on your part. Because you wouldn't put yourself in that place if you loved yourself to that extent. Hi. you wouldn't put yourself in that position. So it takes being able to be by yourself to really understand where your peace is and isn't. Um, and my next thing is to explore your creative passions and to spend time in nature, to read, to draw, to paint, to do things that you genuinely play video games. Like, I don't know what people like to do. That's just what I like to do. But in my process of trying to spend time by myself, to be alone, to really, because for me, alone time is my time with God. It's how I cultivate my relationship with God, the divine, how I'm able to find myself and feel my own spirit. So through that, through wanting to explore that in the first place, is what has led me to want to also cultivate a relationship with myself. You feel me? I started singing. I started painting. I started going out to the parks. I started just finding little things to do just around me that brought me joy. Like, I'll ride the scooters in the city because that's fun. If you've never done it, do it because it's fun. And just like little things, like you don't need to go out with somebody or someone to have fun by yourself. Like, you can literally have fun by yourself. If you like to do yoga, if you like to work out, if you like to do this, you can go and do those things on your own and it's fine. And by doing things like that, you're able to enlighten yourself more. But I just caution you that you're not doing it just as a distraction. You feel me? You don't want to start, sorry y'all, my leg hurt. You don't want to start doing things like that just to distract yourself from being alone. You want to do those things with intention, and the intention being that you want to be able to cultivate a relationship with yourself and find peace and happiness through doing things for you by yourself. And it's not a problem to do those things with other people if they're on the same wavelength as you. But like I said, it takes some discernment for you to know who and who isn't on that wavelength with you, because people will pull you down. If you're going this way and someone else is going this way, they're gonna start pulling you this way, because it's much easier for you to, honestly, it's you're gonna get caught up in the dust because you're listening or you're trying to fit in with someone else when you don't fit in. I feel like even I had to learn that, is that I don't fit in. I don't fit into the big crowd. I don't fit into the social whatever, like I don't fit into society the way the normal person would, I guess. I like to do things in a unique way. I like to do things in my own way. And I feel like if you take the time to just let yourself be yourself and say F the world and who cares to fit in, then you'll be able to cultivate that peace, because everywhere you're trying to fit is everywhere that your peace isn't. Because your peace is somewhere else, but you can't find it because you want to fit in. You want to be normal or whatever, or it's weird to be by yourself, or it's weird to do that. Well, if it's weird, then it's weird. It's weird to you. But to me, doing that is fun. And through doing that, I've been able to learn more about myself. And I've been able to open up like a whole new world of things to do through that. My next point is to be more intentional, and I was more intentional and I cared more about myself, and I honored my needs over other people's. Because through doing that, I was just been able to love myself more, care about myself more, give myself the love that I was constantly giving to other people. You know, you're spending so much energy giving love and giving energy to other people that you're not giving to yourself in relationships and friendships, at work, and even with your family. It's like I just got tired of feeling like I had to give, and I was just depleting myself. So I had to be more intentional with that and up my self-care and do things that were fulfilling for me. So like now I take more time in the shower. I take more time to clean my room, to clean my space. I take more time to do my hair, and I take more time to, like, take care of my body. I eat better. I just do things that are actually good for me. And all of those things are a little different from what other people do. You want to eat junk food all the time, and like you want to do this all the time, and like you want to go here and party here all the time. But at a certain point, I personally just got tired of doing that because I was like, this seems like a waste of time, and I would much rather be at home reading a book. You feel me? So I became more intentional with my own needs, while also caring about other people's, but not more than my own. Like, I came first, I still come first, I always will come first. Um, my next one is that you're freely giving away your peace to irrelevant things all the time. It's like, you know that if you go there and you do that, your peace will not be there. So why are you there? You feel me? You freely give away your peace every day, all the time, constantly. But it's become so habitual for you to do it that it's hard for you to even recognize it. But people are literally taking your peace everywhere you go. When somebody gives you a nasty look in the store, you're giving them away. You're giving your peace away by getting upset. It's like somebody comes and cusses you out. You're giving away your peace by cussing them back out. Like, it takes a level of controlling your emotional reactions, controlling how you respond. You need to respond from a place of peace instead of just reacting or just going on automatic. It takes more conscious awareness in the things that you're doing for you to realize where you're giving up your peace, because when you're giving up your peace, you're also giving up your power. And that's something that we don't do on my side. Okay, we don't give up our power to things that are not giving us power. You feel me? Are not uplifting us. So when things from the outside try to bug me, or like people in my ear, or people are just being negative around me, I really just, when I tell you, I just like, my ears go like, like like a like a like a door, like a steel door. It just goes and then like, it's literally like this everywhere I go. It's like a box. I put myself in a box. I'm in a box, and you can't touch me, you can't hurt me, nothing you do can affect me. And that's really the energy that I try to walk around and be, and how I operate in the world. Um, my next note is to have faith and to trust yourself, because that's the only way you're really going to be able to find peace, is to have faith in the fact that what you're doing and how you're moving is going to be able to cultivate that peace for you. You feel me? If you're doing all of this with a negative outlook, without having any higher perspective of anything, it's going to be difficult for you to stay the course. So you have to have something that you're grounded in. For me, it's my faith. You feel me? My faith is what allows me to walk the path confidently, to know that it doesn't matter what someone else thinks. It doesn't matter if that person is gonna if that person's gonna get in my way. I'm not trying to cuss online, but it's just like, nah, like, my faith is stronger, my God is stronger, I'm protected, I'm able to make it through this no matter what. And you have to trust yourself in the actions that you're taking. So for me, it was quitting my job, cutting off friends, getting off socials, all this stuff. But you have to trust yourself in order to know that the moves that you're making for yourself are right. You feel me? If you doubt, is this the right move? You're gonna be confused. So that's why I say faith and trusting yourself is important. And you'll only be able to trust yourself when you cultivate that relationship with yourself. You feel me? Because that's how you'll be able to know, okay, like, I do know what's good for me. Like, this is good for me. And I did do this by myself, and that felt good. And that made me happy. And that way you're able to train yourself to know that, okay, I am trustworthy. Because when you've been filled with with so many things that are not peaceful, you have trained yourself to know not peace. But when you're able to begin to train yourself to know peace, that's when you'll be able to be like, okay, I trust myself here. You don't trust yourself as much now because you've kind of led yourself astray, in a sense, because you've taken the job and you've stayed in the toxic relationship, and you've given your power away to all these people. So the trust that you have in yourself is very minimal. Like, it's dimmed because you've done so many things, or I'll speak for myself, that I've done so many things that I lost my trust in myself and my decision making. You feel me? But through spending time by myself, I have been able to know, okay, like, I do make good decisions, and I am able to get myself through whatever I'm getting through. So now when I make a decision, it's that decision, and it's that decision. There's no going back. And I put that in my faith and in my God, because through trusting myself and loving myself, I've cultivated a strong relationship with God. And that's also helping me through it. And my last point really is to do the inner work, because you're not going to get anywhere unless you do the inner work. I, through my journey, have faced so many demons. Sometimes I ask myself why I've gone through so much in like the past year, but it's it's been trying, and I feel like my soul has just chosen this accelerated path of just like of like I don't know, like my soul just chose to do a lot in this lifetime. And I've been having to fight a lot of demons. It takes a lot of facing myself. Like I had to face myself to get to know myself all over again, because the me that I thought I knew was not the me that I really was supposed to be. I've had to unlearn and relearn myself from scratch. And till this day, I'm still doing that. You feel me? And I know that you can look uplifted and you can look whatever online, but in reality, there's a lot of work that goes into me being able to stay uplifted and positive. And I'm not afraid to face myself. You feel me? I'm not afraid to face my demons. I'm not afraid to see my ugly. And I'm not afraid to, I've embraced my shadow side. You feel me? And that's really, really, really been able to help me cultivate my peace, because I've done the inner work to dig up the wounds that are keeping me in those places that aren't good for me. Because all of those places you're just attracting them. You know, they're just coming because that's what you know best. But once you start to dig it and you see, okay, this is where it originated from, and I'm not going to do that anymore, you heal it. And once you heal it, you don't want to go back to those places again. And what else do I have on here? No one sees my lowest moments. No one sees me just with God, crying my eyes out, trying to figure out how to get my life together. You feel me? No one sees those moments. No one sees the moments when I'm in my car yelling because I'm like, God, what the? And it's like, no one sees it. No one sees it. No one's going to see it. So that's why I say take everything that you see with a grain of salt, because everybody has their own, you know. But at this point, I've been able to cultivate this skill of being triggered or being in something that isn't good for me, and immediately doing the inner work for it. Like usually in the past, like something would bother me and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna deal with that later. God, just take care of it. Like I would just throw it to God. Like I'll be like, okay, God, take care of this because this is bothering me, you know? But all I was doing was repressing everything that I was feeling. You feel me? I'm just like, you know what, whatever. But now I know that it really does take me sitting down and being like, okay, Yebby, what is going on and how are you about to get out of it? I don't have the time to stay hurt anymore. And I don't have the time or the ability to stay in a place where I'm not in my peace. You feel me? So as soon as something bugs me, I'm immediately sitting down with myself to figure out why it's bugging me. I don't wait it out. And I don't wait for something to come save me anymore. I feel like I'm not a victim anymore to my circumstances. I take control and I say I'm going to pull myself out of victim mode and I'm going to heal it and I'm going to make sure that it's not going to happen again. And then guess what? It doesn't happen again because you healed it. So it takes a lot of facing the demons, working on trauma, and being able to face yourself to know that those are the places that you don't want to be in. You feel me? Once I've been able to do that, and you know, inner work is hard, okay? Healing, and I don't have a therapist. I don't have like somebody holding my hand. It's just me and God. You feel me? And thank God I have God. But it's really just me. You feel me? To be able to dig deep and figure out what's bugging me. And that's why I feel like I'm the most peaceful I've ever been. It's because I've dug myself so deep into my wounds that I've been able to heal them. So now it's like nothing can break my peace because I've been low. You feel me? I've been in the moments where I've been like I've seen my own demons. You feel me? So now nothing is gonna scare me. I've seen myself. So I don't care what I see on the outside anymore. You know? I've been able to see myself in that light. So now I'm able to see myself in the opposite because, again, you remember your divinity through it all. You're able to forgive yourself through it all. And even now, even in the places where you lack peace, it takes compassion. It takes self-compassion, because all of the things that you're in now, a lot of it is conditioned, you know? A lot of the places that you're in, a lot of the negative things that you're in, they're conditioned into you, or it's something from your childhood, something from the past that's coming to repeat itself over and over and over again. History repeats itself. So until you heal it, until you're able to just finally face yourself and be like, why am I in this job? Why am I in this relationship? Why do I keep letting this happen to me? That's when you're able to sit down with yourself. It takes a real man, it takes a real woman, it takes a real person to be able to sit down in the mirror with themselves and be like, what's going on with you? And it takes a lot of love to do that too. But that's what I've been able to do. And you know, faith, I have on here that faith. Oh, I have wrote that I wanted everybody to see this video and to use me as a mirror if you lack faith. Because if you believe in me and you believe in my journey, you can use me as a mirror to see what could be for you. Because whatever you see in me is also in you at all times. And faith, they say that faith is it's like having faith in things that you can't see, but you can see me. You feel me? The faith is there. All the places that you want to be, all the things that you see that you like or that you admire in other people, you can see those things. So you can put your faith in them, you know? And that's really all I have to say, you know? Like that's really the video. I appreciate everybody that has that's wanted to, you know, watch this video or encourage me to do this video. And I really hope that you've been able to take away just like, you know, one thing. You can always leave me a comment down below. If you want to leave, if you have anything to say in the chat, drop it in the chat. But I just want to thank y'all so much. You know, this is long. It's like a 40-minute video. But thank you so much for joining. I really hope that y'all been able to take something from it. And I guess I'll see y'all in my next one. Okay? See ya. Bye. Let me end this jump.